Hello, welcome to Manic in Miami. This is Holly Hurricane. So, my birthday is tomorrow. I am a Christmas Eve baby, hence my name Holly. And I was actually born in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Holly from Bethlehem. Guess I'm the Antichrist, you could say. It's been the worst year of my life. And I'm ending the year on, I guess, kind of a low note, and I'm going to examine some of the patterns that I've identified that have disrupted my life and destroyed meaningful connections over and over. So, yep, welcome to my life. Welcome to Crazy World, if you're old enough to remember those ads. And yeah, I just thought I'd celebrate my birthday by sharing a few birthday related examples of this attachment style. According to my extensive research, my disorganized or fearful avoidant attachment is pretty severe. And the pattern that I reenact over and over in repetition is also a severe or extreme example. And part of the reason for that is that it overlaps with BPD. BPD is associated with an anxious attachment style. More people with BPD have an anxious attachment style than a disorganized or fearful avoidant. That's true. But there is also a significant overlap between fearful avoidance and people with BPD. Basically, it's kind of like emotional masochism, and it's really fucking crazy. It's kind of like I'd never want to belong to a club that would have someone like me for a member, meets like the Twilight Zone, meets like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I kind of became aware of this in EMDR therapy, and then I sabotaged my personal growth in EMDR therapy by just like stopping it. And my therapist said, you're actually sabotaging yourself because you're making progress and you should really stick with it. And she was right. But one big thing that I got out of it was recognizing this pattern. Being self aware is extremely important to healing these patterns. But unfortunately, even with self awareness, you can reenact them again, and you're not aware of the pattern until it's too late, until after the damage has been done. So I'm always just like, why am I like this? Like, am I cursed? So yeah, I guess for my birthday, this is kind of like a public act of self flagellation. So I'm hoping that you can think about your own self sabotage. And there isn't much out there on BPD and disorganized attachment. I don't know why. Only 7% of people are thought to have this attachment style. And surprise, surprise, it's considered to be the worst one. It combines anxious attachment with avoidant attachment. So you have kind of a hypersensitivity to rejection, frantic attempts to avoid abandonment, but you also have a discomfort with getting too close and a discomfort with vulnerability. But there are specific triggers and dynamics that draw this out. In my recent BPD vlog, which I did take down for a little bit, but it's back up. So the irony is that I didn't realize it at the time, but I was actually enacting this fearful avoidant pattern by putting that vlog out. First of all, disclaimer, I am going to out a famous person I met on Instagram who slid into my DMs. That person is James Franco. I was living in the Bahamas, and I remember when the scandal broke about him and his, Instagram meetings, and I saw the news and I was like, holy shit, guess we're not going to Exuma, because he had talked about meeting me in Exuma in the Bahamas. But this situation that I just talked about is nothing like that. With James Franco, it was kind of like the water in the Bahamas in Exuma. It was very transparent and very shallow. It was not very deep. So let's just leave it at that. So the story I tell on the vlog and the act of creating that vlog were efforts on a subconscious level to play out this unconscious trauma reenactment. I feel like, I like this person, they like me, it's going great, but then something really scares me. Now I feel like I'm being put on a pedestal, and there are these expectations because I feel that I'm being idealized that I'll never be able to meet and live up to. Then I have this, deep-seated core belief in one part of me that I'm not worthy anyway. What will happen when this person really sees me for the whole human being I am, with flaws, complexity? It just seems like if the person's not really engaging with the whole you, that you become some kind of like fictitious character. It's a bit dehumanizing. I can't be this like two-dimensional fantasy person. So what do? So this is what I do. I subconsciously identify something that I know will elicit a negative reaction. I've done this over and over. And it's not with every dynamic, every, relational situation. So, for example, in the recent vlog, it's like, oh, someone has a public image. I have a great idea. Why don't I share private communications with that person, with someone that in the back of my mind, I feel for a variety of reasons that I won't go into, might end up sharing with someone else. So then what do I do after that? I speak about it in a vlog. And I actually say in that vlog, I didn't include that part, but I say, like, I'm really afraid this guy is going to find out about this. And then on top of that, I send him the link to it to make sure he finds out about it. And it's not a great response. He's going to hate this. And part of me knows that. That's what's so fucking crazy and frustrating. The person was freaked out, and it's like I was trying to freak him out. And then to make matters worse, I take it further and, violate boundaries because at this point I'm feeling this like frantic, desperate need to correct myself and to explain myself, which leads to over explaining and then oversharing. I just need like some kind of reassurance that it hasn't like all gone to hell. And then I do something else to kind of push the person away completely. It might be something drastic, like for no reason, something kind of mean. I send it like a mean message or something. Just something to like really like shut it down, like completely. I kind of feel like I'm playing a part when I'm doing it because it's not what I consciously want to communicate or what I'm actually feeling. And it's like I can't stop myself. This other part that's driven by fear, that's driven by, this unconscious trauma reenactment is just going to go ahead and do it and not listen to me. So it's fear and it's avoidance, but unlike the dismissive avoidant who just feels unsafe and retreats, it is avoidance by like creating a scenario, orchestrating a situation in which I'm guaranteed to experience rejection or at least like negative pushback, and then acting shocked and hurt when it happens the way that I've set it up to happen. So that's what's totally insane about it. It makes no sense. It really is crazy. And I'm smiling about it, but it's devastating. It's really, really difficult. And when you have BPD and that fear of abandonment is even stronger, or that hypersensitivity to rejection is stronger, it's worse. So I guess you can have disorganized attachment. You can be a fearful avoidant, and not have that hypersensitivity to rejection as much. So I guess maybe the aftermath isn't as bad. But if you have BPD, the aftermath of playing out this trauma pattern, and pushing someone away is really, really bad. Okay. So there is like a meltdown and realization, because with this fearful avoidant BPD interaction, I kind of think of it as like frantic attempts to get a second chance. And there are reasons that the second chance seems so important. One is that the fearful avoidant recognizes that it was a trauma reenactment. It's just this profound distress, and it doesn't seem fair. And then if you get the second chance, it's like it validates that, you do deserve something and you are worthy of something. And then if that doesn't work, or it only works a little bit, there is this big like meltdown emotional fallout. Yeah. So the meltdown really happens when the fearful avoidant has successfully completed all of the self-sabotaging behaviors to totally push the other person away. And after that happens, it's just like devastation. And you feel like self-loathing. You feel guilt and shame, this shock and disbelief at this like lost connection or this lost experience. The dismissive avoidant is looking for a fantasy person, and that person doesn't exist because that person, again, is not really a whole human being. So for my birthday, this guy, we were supposed to go to Jose Ignacio, which is a really nice beach town in Uruguay, and stay in this chef Francis Malman's house. And just before that, he had come down to Miami to see me for the weekend. I identified something that he wouldn't like. He really didn't like it, and I was doing it on purpose, like testing. I was trying to push him away. He said, I am a little bit disappointed in you. I had set this up. I just impulsively ended everything. I really don't think anyone's ever broken up with this guy. He kind of laughed. He was like, "Are you breaking up with me?" I said, I just can't do this anymore if I let you down. He was very mad after that, and he couldn't believe it. And he said, "Okay, well, I will tell Francis, like, I'll cancel the Jose Ignacio trip." And I was crying. I mean, that's the thing. Like, even though I ended things, I was heartbroken, and I was making frantic attempts to kind of start over again. Then I ended up spending Christmas with him a couple years ago. I remember like shoving like cod miso in my face because like his Jewish Christmas Chinese takeout was like Nobu, of course. And he looked at me and he was like, "You know what your problem is? You can't get out of your own way." It's true. I can't get out of my own way. Unconscious patterns, trauma reenactment, it kind of does. It comes up out of the dark depths. It's like the Loch Ness monster of relational pattern reenactment. I don't know if that makes any sense. Yeah. And it's not all my fault. So I also don't want to be too hard on myself. A secure person would be, I think, more forgiving and wouldn't initially put me on a pedestal that way. And so perhaps would not trigger my disorganized attachment so hardcore that I needed to sabotage it repeatedly until it dies. Anyway, unhappy holidays.